Promoter Manny Rivera, hard-hitting promotions. Manny, we've done an interview before, but welcome back, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Talk to me about your hot prospect, Jeremy King Cuevas.
I mean, he speaks for himself. Jeremy speaks for himself. I mean, I've been following Jeremy since the amateurs. I remember when he first started training with Tony. Tony was always telling me, you know, Manny, I got this little Puerto Rican kid. He's awesome, good looking, can fight. You know, oh yeah, definitely, great. I think he only had not even a handful of amateur fights. But every time I saw Tony, he would say the same thing. So I started going to some of his fights, started attending to some of his fights, and the number one thing I saw was that he was a professional fighter in an amateur environment. That's all I needed to see. You know, I didn't care whether he won the fight or lost the fight, because I knew he wasn't suited for that, for the amateur. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand that, but it's two complete different styles. You know, and that's why you almost see some really successful amateur fighters not make it in the pros at all, and you can't figure out why. But you know, unfortunately, the way the amateur system is scored, you know, it changes to the pros. So what I wanted to see, I saw. So after that was more of personality. I mean, you know me for a long time. I mean, I started in this game from the bottom. I mean, from the bottom, yes, I was a amateur fighter, Puerto Rico, handful of fights, came to the States, I had a cousin of mine that was a fighter, and that's how I got involved in the boxing business side of it. Seen some stuff while he was fighting that kind of didn't make no sense with the business sense and with the business that was going on, and you know, from then he told me, you know, I would like you to you know, basically manage me. So that's how I started with the managing, and I had Angel Ocasio. And so you know my history with that. So going back to that, back then I used to just look for talent, not knowing, you know, the core of what makes a fighter. I would just look for talent. The guy that used to hit the bag and all that was wow, this kid is awesome. I would love to manage this kid, and that's what I would go after. But throughout the years, I've learned that yes, that's a facet of the sport. But if the guy is not dedicated and doesn't have heart, the talent,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You can throw it out the window. It's the dedication, the hunger, and the heart is what makes the fighter, especially in today's boxing.
That's true. I would agree. And with a young prospect like Jeremy Cuevas, I think you found everything. As the great Ray Charles would say from beyond the grave, you got the right one, baby.
100%. I call Jeremy the diamond in the rough.
Okay.
And the reason why I say the diamond in the rough is because, you know, because of the style of his fighting wasn't suited for the amateurs, so he didn't make a lot of noise in the amateurs, like some of the other fighters that came up in his time. You know, the Christian Cardos, the Brandons, the right. I mean, was it the
Boots Ennis?
Boots, obviously a little before them, but Boots and everybody else. But I think he's just as talented as that category.
And I'm
definitely in that same class.
And I'm agreeing with you. Allow me to quote the great Reverend Elvin Thompson: "You can't eat trophies, son. So who, so who cares?" I mean, you're absolutely right. I've seen Jeremy over the past 3-4 years in the amateurs. he has a pro style. Who cares?
Yeah.
He's getting the experience. He won most of his amateur fights. But I have to agree with you 100%. He's better suited for the pros. And you can't eat trophies. There are a lot of guys who want all these trophies on their shelf. At the end of the day, it's great, but can't eat trophies, son. Yeah. Let's talk about this fight on December 1st.
Well, I mean, we're just blessed. I mean, I'm going to start off with that. Hard Hitting Promotions is just blessed, and it's a team of us. I mean, I'm kind of the person that are always speaking for everybody, but it's a team of us.
Right.
But we're blessed. I mean, just from the roster. I mean, let's be honest here. We're only been in assistance since 2015.
Okay.
You know, I really believe that in the next year or so, we will probably be predominantly the #1 boxing promotion in Philadelphia. I mean, I don't see Russell being around for too much longer, and I've learned a lot from that man.
You don't see Russell being around? Russell told me over dinner 6 years ago, I'm winding down.
He's been telling me that for about 10 to 12 years.
In 2117, in the year 2117, people will be saying, I don't see Russell being around much longer.
Yeah. You might be right. You might be right, but I don't see it.
Okay.
I mean, even just in recent years, you've seen the decline in the amount of fights thrown a year. You know, and thanks to him, I mean, he's Philly boxing. You talk about Philly boxing, you talking about Russell Peltz. You know, but I just think that, you know, Philly, what my goal in reality more than anything is to bring really Philly boxing back to the forefront of boxing.
Okay.
I mean, we have so many great fighters like we're talking about, especially this class, but we have great fighters that came out from the past. You know, Danny Garcia. Why is Danny Garcia's home stadium in Brooklyn? You know, I don't understand that, you know. And so on and so on, you know. You know, you have Hank Lundy. How many world titles has he fought? Never in Philly. You know, you can say that for every Philly fighter. But this used to be that place. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So it's not like it can't be. It's not like, you know, we're talking about, you know, some place where boxing has never. I mean, we're talking about Philly. It's the mecca of boxing.
The capital of boxing.
Capital of boxing. But there's no major boxing event held here in the last 30 years. I mean, probably longer than that. So there's something going on that kind of don't.
Let's talk about your roster. You have Jeremy Cuevas. You have another guy who has dynamite in his midst. Dave 1-2 Murray. It only takes one shot for Dave. Talk to me about the rest of the guys you have on your roster.
We have Brandon Pizarro.
The Pizarro brothers.
And his brother.
Angel Pizarro.
Angel Pizarro.
Who I interviewed when he was about 8 years old.
Yeah?
Yes, I interviewed him.
The older brother?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I mean, two dynamite fighters. I really believe Brandon, you know, obviously one of the youngest fighters to ever sign pro. Doing awesome. I mean, the talent level is great. Not just in the ring, but outside of the ring.
Outside the ring.
Which is what impresses me more about him. He's a straight A student, great kid all the way around.
He's a senior this year in high school.
Yes, he's a senior in high school. You know, I was just telling Jeremy, you know, I see them two really not just becoming champions, but transcending the sport of boxing. And when I talk about, you know, hopefully bringing the big fights back to Philly, that's who I kind of have in mind, because I really believe that they're going to be the type of fighter that can demand that. You know, you got to be a certain type of fighter to be able to demand something like that. But we have Samuel Tia. I mean, another unbelievable.
He brings two countries, man. He's Liberian and Ghanaian. He has two countries behind him.
I mean, humble kid. That's first and foremost. His story, to me, I mean, it's something that, somebody should really sit down with him and do a documentary, because it's heartfelt. It really is heartfelt that with all the adversity that young man has gone through in his life, he has such a belief in God and such a peace and good willing to do to others and everything. With all the adversity he has, it's amazing. He inspires me, all the time, every time I talk to him.
And he can punch.
But what a fighter. All that being said, what a fighter.
He can punch.
I mean, he's coming from 3 straight knockouts.
Right.
And some of these fighters, I mean, I'm talking about the fight in Atlantic City. I mean, we knew that was going to be a good fight for him. I knew he can beat him, but I mean, this guy went to a close decision with Milton Santiago.
Searching for my coffee.
In our card. I mean, which it was a controversy. I think some of the writers have wrote that he might have beat Milton, or which I think Milton won the fight. But anyways, I mean, it wasn't even a fight with Sammy T. I mean, I think he knocked him cold in, what was it, the 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken. So he's an amazing fighter. The difference between Sammy T and Jeremy and the Pizarro brothers is that I don't have the time, that I have with the rest of the guys. The other guys are really young. You're talking about Brandon 17,
right?
Jeremy's in early 20s, the same thing, the Pizarro brothers. So I have time to be able to develop these fighters and just take my time with them and move them, and hopefully, 25-0. It doesn't matter with them 30-0, because by the time they're 30-0, if we keep out at this pace, they're only 25 years old. You know what I mean? With Sammy T, I mean, he's 31 now.
But a young 31.
And he's only 11-0. The difference is Sammy never took the punishment that a lot of the 31-year-old fighters have. So I really believe that my goal with Sammy would be, hard-hitting's goal with Sammy would be, and by the end of next year, really make a push on something significant.
Let's move forward. December 1st. Huge show. You have King Cuevas on the show. You have Christian Cardo. You have arguably, technically, one of the best heavyweights on the planet, the Tank, Joey DeWaco, modern day James Toney. Who else do you have on that card? Sammy? Sammy's on that card, man. It's stacked.
Oh, it's like I said, we're blessed. There's no other way around it. Let's be honest. I mean, this reminds me of of Russell Peltz's Blue Horizon show, where the best of Philly offers on one card in one night. I mean, we have Joey DeWaco, the Tank. I'll reveal it now because I believe it's going to happen, but he's more than likely he's going to fight for the USBA.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
So that's the fight that we're really working on right now. It's a big fight for Joey. We also co-promote Joey DeWaco with Greg Cohen. We have Christian Cardo. I mean, just
undefeated, knocking everyone out.
We can have a whole segment
on Christian Cardo.
You know, so we have Christian Cardo, speaks for himself. Brandon Pizarro. We have Sammy T. We have Darmani Rock coming to Philly.
Darmani, right, the super heavyweight, undefeated.
Coming to Philly, signed with Rock Nations, never fought in Philly. I believe is one of the up-and-coming heavyweights. I really believe he can do an impact in the heavyweight division.
He reminds me of Larry Holmes, man, with the punch.
Young kid, can punch, knows how to use a jab, fights like a lightweight, but is a heavyweight. And has the size, which in today's day and age, unfortunately, it matters in the heavyweight division. So, I mean, we have him, which was a blessing to had him to the card. Like we said, Jeremy Cuevas. We have Godwin Rosa, which is another kid from Florida that we work with. And the older brother of the Pizarros,
Angel.
which is undefeated as well.
Bantamweight.
You know, with 2 knockouts.
Okay, well, we're wrapping up here. Tell the fans why they should come out December 1st, Sugar House Casino, baby.
I'm gonna say what I say to everyone when I get the question, because I work around a lot of people that are not, advocates of the sport like we are involved in the sport, and boxing is not the same. Well, boxing is not only the same, it's better. Here is the difference. If you really want to watch boxing, what you guys call throwback boxing, come and support not just my show, but any of these local boxing shows, because these kids are the ones that are going to give you that throwback fight. These kids are in there giving their lives in reality for you to watch and to prove to the world that they're going to be the next champions. Those fights, a lot of these fights that you're seeing on the big pay-per-view events, it's 2 millionaires sitting down and signing a contract and getting an agreement. I mean, I'm really being honest. And then you say boxing is not the same. Come and support any of these local shows, and you would fall in love again with the sport. I can guarantee you. December 1st, we'll be at the Sugar House Casino, and I would love your support. Thank you.
There you have it, fans. Hard-hitting promotions. They've signed a lot of hard hitters. December 1st, you don't want to miss it. Sugar House Casino. Take care.
Thank you.